So I would say we're back into our normal routine with the Wednesday practice here. Travel and all that went pretty smooth, and today was good first practice. Any questions?
Sean, putting Garrett on IR, how much will it just overall your offensive line depth be tested?
Look, you never want to lose a guy that's been dressing, but we'll have next player ready, and today was good practice for a number of those guys that that have played, and some of them that haven't played as much, but we'll be ready.
When you go down past like option A, option B, is it just as simple as you put the next guy in, or do you want to see more than one thing over the course of it?
No, I think, listen, we spent time discussing it, and I think we've got a real good plan relative to what we're wanting to do.
What would it be like to honor the Super Bowl 50 team this weekend if you talk to the guys about, hey, this is what we're...
I haven't yet. I will at some point in the week talk about the alumni back, talk about Demaryius Thomas. Obviously it's an important weekend for the Broncos, and at some point I'll talk about that.
How did Dre Greenlaw look today, and what are your thoughts on his status moving forward?
Yeah, he practiced today. It was good.
Coach, when Dre Greenlaw does play, what does he bring to the team?
These are the hypotheticals, right? I love them. No, I can't say anything about injury. He practiced today. He practiced today. He's been working out, like he's been rehabbing, and today was a good day. Next question.
The last 2 years, you guys have found winning streaks throughout the season. What has been the goal of first establishing those streaks and then continuing?
I think typically any team if you just took last year's postseason field, you're going to see a stretch. I mean, you're not going to see. It's hard to play yo-yo football, and I think if we did that experiment, we'd see stretches 3, 4, 5, 8 wins, depending on the team. And I think that it's being able to, obviously finish the evaluation of the game you played and then turn the page for the next challenge. And each one's different.
Sean, the third quarter on offense, especially the 3rd and 10 handoff to the fullback, it was basically a pressure look. So it's not like we were planning on handing the ball off, but we got a double-A mug, and it was kind of a trap built in, so a little bit unusual.
Sean, you said you guys know Bo likes tempo. You started the game in a lot of that, kind of a few looks there, and then kind of looked like you guys went away from it.
I think, look, a lot of it is dependent on what personnel we're in, what do we want to get to. I think it's always part of our plan, and then getting into it, whether it's run or pass, is there's a list right in front of me. It's just a matter of where we're at field position wise and what we're trying to accomplish.
What was it in that vein that made you guys kind of go away from?
I can't recall that we went away. Sure. Meaning, there are times when, like the touchdown was kind of a up-tempo play. So, we'll use it each week where we see fit.
Sean, you've seen Jonathon Cooper play a lot of good football. What has maybe elevated his game?
I think, man, there's a mental toughness to him. There's a grit element. It's hard to measure, but he's extremely physical, and so you can get power, his get off, and I kind of feel like that group is feeding off each other, and you see the elevation of all of them, and so I was in the training room. I was always under the impression the player was aware he was, the player of the week, and I just congratulate him, and he hadn't heard of it. So, but look, he's a great teammate. He's got all those traits that you look for in a player. So I'm glad he's with us.
New York City.
Some coaches have said tempo can settle without penalties. Are you in that camp? Do you believe that?
Yeah, I'm not. That's not the reason we're in tempo to settle penalties down. I think penalties come from, look, we've got to obviously
be more disciplined, more focused. But I think it can calm down what you're seeing sometimes defensively, but I've never heard or thought about it calming down penalties.
What do you see from New York's defensive front?
Well, look, you just go through the group, and there's a lot of first-round picks there that are playing with a ton of confidence. It's usually there's one or two, and in this week there's a number of them across the front that different than anyone we've played to date, and the interior linemen, they're rushing the passer well, and they're able to rotate guys in, and it's been really effective.
Coach, you got a 7-game win streak at home entering this game with a lot of games in the next 2 months at home. Do you think that can really help with your momentum?
Well, I mean, look, we're focused on this game. We're not focused on the win streak, or I think the focus is on winning this next game.
What are the general thoughts on the inconsistency of the offense, just the lulls coming at different times? I mean,
listen.
It was a slow start and then Jets' slow end.
So what's the question?
What are your thoughts? I mean, it's not like a trend. You don't know.
Listen, I think it's something that we've got to have a heightened awareness to, and the attention to detail, and it's the little things. It's reducing in the plan, and that has to happen fast.
Sean, you guys signed JT Gray. What have you seen on special teams that made you?
Well, listen, we're all familiar with the player. He's someone we kept our eye on. He's been on the injured practice squad. We knew he was healthy. He's terrific in the kicking game. Now we'll have a chance to evaluate him here during the next week, see when and if we're able to get him up. But he's a difference maker in a lot of areas.
After the game, you mentioned you had hands on the returner on the long returns. Overall, schematic, is it an execution?
I think there's generally there's always a couple things that weren't clean. This is a good team we're playing in the return and kick coverage units. And so, in that phase, there's been obviously a point of emphasis. So, it's not just one individual.
Coach, when you evaluate defensive numbers, do sacks carry the same value as takeaways in your eyes?
Takeaways are number one always. And then obviously sacks can lead to punts, which essentially is a field position turnover, but turnovers are first.
Coach, are you happy with R.J. Harvey behind the snes, what he's doing, and are you happy with the patience the kid is showing, waiting for his opportunity?
Yeah, listen, he does a number of things well for us, and I think as this season progresses, we'll get a chance to see more and more of his skill set. But yes.
With Pat Bryant, obviously he's playing more and more as the first 6 games.
Yep.
What has sort of allowed him to find that level?
I think he's got a real good understanding of what we're doing offensively. He's someone that is really good with the ball in hands. He's really good with his feet on the ground, catching the ball. So we continue to find those roles, for these young players.
Sean, when you're dealing with penalties the way that you dealt with them for the first 6 weeks, do you change psychologically your approach, or do you just hammer the same message?
Well, I think you have to look internally first. All right, are we doing too much? How do we reduce the variables? And then, are there repeat offenders? And so, obviously, we've got to address it during practice if we see it. In other words, if it continues to happen, then as a coach or a teacher, we've not done a good enough job addressing it. And so, we understand its significance.
Coach, after the game, you pointed to the offensive line and said they might have struggled a little bit in this game. Did you see that on film after watching it? And what?
Look, I think after the game, there were a number of things that I thought we didn't do well. That was one part of it, but yeah, now we're focused on this next one.
You guys went to Evan pretty early.
Yeah.
Do you feel like some sort of switch has flipped from the last couple of weeks, or is it?
No, I think it's, look, you're trying to get touches to certain guys, Sutton, Ingram, you're trying to get, there's certain plays, obviously, that are designed for certain guys. That doesn't mean for sure they're going to get it, but he's one of our playmakers.
Where's Marvin kind of in that?
He's in that. Very, very important.